Finally, after years of rumors and anticipation, Planet Coaster 2 is finally out. The highly anticipated sequel to the incredibly popular theme park sim and one of my most prodigious time sinks has released on all platforms, and it brings with it a slew of incredible new features. A new path building tool, incredible deep levels of customization, and the big new addition, water parks. Now we can fabricate incredibly detailed slides, build massive and intricate pools, and create sprawling and varied water parks that were only a distant dream back in the days of RCT3's Soaked expansion. But who gives a shit? The only thing that really matters is if they fix the coaster builder, and I'm going to find out. Alright, I will admit this video is going to be a little bit nitpicky. Before I absolutely lay into one of my favorite all-time video games, I want to start off by saying that Planet Coaster's Coaster Builder is overall very solid. It is extremely intuitive and easy to use, and it strikes a great middle ground between the pre-built simplicity of games like Roller Coaster Tycoon and the crushing realism of No Limits 2 and FVD++. And in my opinion, that's a great place to be. You can build some awesome and realistic looking coaster designs without having to spend 6 hours tearing your hair out trying to place nodes in just the right location. It's okay. It's okay, Thomas. It's okay. No need to bring back the trauma. With that being said, the Coaster Builder does have some pretty glaring flaws. And to demonstrate these flaws, I built a coaster. Here's a nice little B&M floorless that I just farted out in about 10 minutes. Not too shabby, huh? It's got the B&M floorless staples, a twisting drop leading into a big vertical loop, plenty of nice large floaty first half inversions, a long helix to spice things up a bit, and the classic B&M double corkscrew finale to round things off. It looks great, at least in my opinion. Now let's hop on and ride it. Oh, Jesus Christ, yeah, this thing is rough. Some absurdly janky transitions abound, which is a real shame because, like every old car I've ever owned, it looks pretty good from 10 feet away. This isn't a big deal though, because Planet Coaster includes a smoothing tool to iron out those rougher transitions, and it works pretty well. Here I smoothed out one of the worst parts of the ride, which was the turnaround between the two corkscrews, and just by looking at it, you can tell that the smoothing tool is making an improvement. And let's see how it feels from the rider's perspective. As you can tell, it's smooth as glass now, but there's a problem. Where did the banking go? The smoothing tool has pressed our turnaround into a bunch of flat turns, and that is a bad look for our lateral forces. And what about that awkward transition from the second corkscrew? We don't want the track to straighten out, we want it to bank into the turn to save our riders from a violent headbang. But the smoothing tool makes that flat spot that was already there even worse. And if I try to smooth out that absolutely horrid transition out of the first drop into the vertical loop, you'll notice that the smoothing tool is failing us here as well. And those are the three major failings of the original PlanCo Coaster Builder. The initial product, pre-smoothing, is supremely janky, the smoothing tool can drastically change the geometry of the track, and perhaps most importantly, you cannot smooth the track going in and out of inversions. No matter how hard you try, you are not going to be able to get that arrow corkscrew right unless you painstakingly build out the corkscrew by hand, which I've done many times. Now there is one solution to the limitations of the PlanCo track builder, and it's called the 4-meter method. The method basically involves reducing the track piece size to the smallest possible quantum and painstakingly building the whole coaster out small piece by small piece. And the 4-meter method works. In fact, it works pretty well. You can build some awesome looking rides using this method, but it takes an incredible amount of effort to get there. And at that point, why not just play No Limits 2? A simulation like No Limits 2 offers far more control than PlanCo ever could, but No Limits 2 is a pain in the ass. My hope is that with the second installment in the Planet Coaster franchise, we can just get a little bit closer to realistic design without sacrificing Frontier's super user-friendly coaster designer. So I've devised a little challenge for myself to put the new PlanCo to the test. Without using any fancy tools or the 4-meter method, I'm going to build the same coaster in PlanCo 1 and PlanCo 2 and compare them directly to each other to see just how much the new game is improved upon the original. And that coaster is...
We interrupt this program with an important update.
Our investigators have discovered a small disturbance in the timeline that threatens to shake the foundations of the coaster world as we know it. There is no doubt in my mind that this timeline meddling is the work of none other than Alan Schilke, founding member of the newly revived DIN Corporation and freshly minted time traveler. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel so that we can harness enough nuclear energy to travel back in time and stop this madness. Thank you. The coaster is Viper at Six Flags Magic Mountain. And before you complain that I'm talking about Viper again, I promise there's a very good reason I picked this specific ride, and I'll get to that soon. Here's my attempt from PlanCo 1, and at first glance it looks pretty solid, but after a few seconds of inspection, the issues immediately become apparent. Like, what the hell is going on with that transition into the first loop? Jesus. Unsurprisingly, the transition into the corkscrew is a pale facsimile of the real thing, and that Batwing, oh my god, the Planet Coaster Batwing is an affront to the eyes. Absolutely disgusting. If we hop into the driver's seat, we can see that the layout does look pretty solid overall, but some of the transitions and profiling do leave a lot to be desired. Still, it's pretty decent, all things considered, until you compare it to No Limits 2. Yes, the industry-standard coaster simulation software has a built-in clone of the Arrow Mega Looper, and that makes it the perfect ride to use for our little challenge because we have the software simulation benchmark at our disposal. No surprise, the Viper pre-build on No Limits 2 is a big improvement compared to my feeble PlanCo attempt. I pretty much expected that. And I don't expect PlanCo 2 to be able to match the No Limits sim, but let's find out how much further it advances beyond its predecessor. It's time to jump into the new game. Alright kids, we got PlanCo 2 booted up and I'm ready to jump in. I'm going in pretty much completely blind here. And I won't lie, over dinner, because my curiosity got the best of me, I couldn't stop but putting in some of the pre-builts and riding them, but beyond that, completely blind. So we're going to jump right in, we're going to start a new park. Well, let's do Taiga, why not? I'm gonna call it Viper. Duh. And I don't understand what these presets... Okay, that is a valid name, thank you. Experiment with the management features of PlanCo Coaster 2 with that word. No, we're not worrying about that. Enjoy ultimate park building control, that's what I'm talking about. Sandbox settings. Just not gonna mess with that. Biome Taiga. Alright, cool. Let's do it. Again, I'm going in blind. I have not touched the coaster builder yet. I got my Viper at Magic Mountain cup filled with nondescript gamer fluid, and we're just gonna jump right in. So let's do it. All right. Already looks pretty nice. I appreciate that there's like actually terrain, unlike the original PlanCo, which just like your sandbox mats were just flat. Not that we're gonna be using terrain here, but we'll go from there. Okay, yeah, so these are all the pre-builts. I did want to go over the names that they picked for the manufacturers, which I knew about beforehand, but some of them are really funny. So, we got, for S&S, we got F&F International. For B&M, we have Valet and Nidwalden. It's the alright one. Intamin is Outamax, which is just spectacular. Bacoma's Vector, duh. Giovanola is a Giovanni, beautiful. Jerry St. Lauer, oh, Kerslauer is Jerry St. Lauer. And Premier Rides is Premium Rides. I'm assuming Big M is Mach, yeah, that makes sense. Vector being Bacoma, we did that. Aerodynamics is Dart Kinetics, and isn't that beautiful? Love that. Anton has the Looping Sun, which is the Schwarzkopf Looping Star. Big fan of these. Very funny. Add some personality to the game. Obviously, we're going with the Dart Kinetics Looper here, so let's go. Alright, let's see the... Okay, good. The controls remain the same from Planet Coaster. The menus are a little bit different. Okay. So we need enough for 7. That's 8. That should be good enough. Well, let's do it. Alright, Viper's got to lift right out of the station. I'm just gonna jump right in here. Wait, what? Okay. Oh, so the mouse buttons are mapped to select and delete, which is actually very convenient. Anyways, alright. Chain lift. Let's go. Boom. Alright, went a little too far. Fun fact, Viper is actually... Wait, actually, I haven't gone far enough. Viper is 188 feet tall. Pretty impressive, right? And I think we'll nail that. Are we gonna nail that? 186. I'm good with that. That's good. Alright. We're at the first drop. Let's do it. Sorry, I'm getting a little used to the camera controls. Usually I do like a 1 foot banking offset for arrows. They don't really have like the equivalent of a low rail banking method, but I think that's like the closest you'll get. So yeah, we're just gonna go from there. So far, so same pretty much. The real test is gonna be when we finally get to the point. Oh wait, I forgot to do the thing that I'm supposed to do. The real question is gonna be when we get to the point that we can build the vertical loop and see if we can actually like finally smooth the inversions, which is kind of my... Oh, this is only 45 degrees. Damn, I'm sorry guys. I am a little off my game right now, just because this is my first time playing this, so I'm learning with you. All right. All right, are we ready for this? Because the real test's about to come. And I'm hoping to God that they fix this, because this is probably my biggest hope from the new game. So we'll just shoot it right up. Say like yay high, and then we'll go to loops. No. Okay, clothoid loop, wide vertical loop. What's the difference? Is it just the exit angle? Yeah, it's just the exit angle. Okay, as we know, arrows are very tight. And 159, that's pretty good. Now how do we get to the... No? Do I have to go to edit mode? Okay. Let me go to edit mode. Alright. Whoa. Okay, this is new. So we have smooth strength, smooth direction, and smooth type. That's pretty cool. That's great, because like I was complaining before in the old PlanCo about how smoothing would ruin the banking, but now you can change which type of smoothing you want. So if you just want to smooth the turn, it'll just smooth the turn, and you just want to smooth the height, and it'll preserve the banking. That's pretty awesome. I like that. So we'll do all. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's a piece of straight track. Smooth direction, cool, and we'll leave the smooth strength at 10. And now, time for the moment of truth. No. Ugh, damn it, really? Oh, come on. I feel like that's like the most obvious thing that was wrong with the original PlanCo builders. Like, obviously you don't want this angle going into every single inversion. I mean, like I said, maybe I'm missing something here. I don't think I am, because I don't really see anything that allows me to, like, change things from here, but okay. Fine. That's a mark against PlanCo 2, and I'm pretty disappointed about that, because that's probably what I wanted the most in the new game, but I'll allow it. Okay. My fave, the pathetic trim break after the loop. And now, alright, from here, pretty straightforward. I'm just gonna like speed it up, and we'll get to the mid-course and we'll go from there, so sayonara while I lock in a little bit. Alright, and we're back. So far, I gotta say, I only really rode the ride and the ride thingy once, but the track before smoothing is, like, way better. Like, obviously there's still janky profiling, but, I mean, just look here. And the big turn going into the second loop. Like, that looks way better. Obviously, we're gonna do some smoothing afterwards, but I'm pretty happy with that. So, okay. Let's go into the Batwing now. So this is the mid-course. It just popped off the mid-course, but you know. Let's pretend that it didn't do that. Poor fella. He's doing his best. I'll do like a 33. Alright, well I know for a fact that the Batwing is not going to let me, like, do the thing that I want to. And they still have the shite Batwing, which makes me really annoyed. But maybe they have a different one? No, they don't. Alright, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret here because I don't want to use that, so I am just going to make one myself. So let's do that. We got our corkscrew. We'll do our half loop, which should be in loops, I guess. Yeah, we got our half loop down. All right, pretty solid. I'm gonna get it so that's a little bit lower on the other side, which I think that should do. Can I lower the speed? Height. Okay. Let's just see how it goes through this. Oh, okay, it's a little, it's a little slow. All right, let me, you know, this will actually be a good test to see how, like, adjusting the height, like, on the fly will go. So let me try that. I'm gonna do that. Bring down, oh, I see, okay, interesting. So it lowers the height everywhere except at the end, which I guess, like, makes sense. So I guess I'll just delete this piece and then go, yeah, and then do this. I know I have to do the damn thing to cut off. Unfortunately, I mean, actually that's a lie. I do have some aerodynamics, like, coaster blueprints, but I am far too lazy to actually incorporate that into the ride. Oh, I like that. Oh, the ability, you could just, like, keep it going straight. You could do, like, a little stall thing. That's really cool. Not for an arrow looper, obviously, but for, like, other coasters. That's pretty cool. So, alright. We got our Batwing exit. I'll say that's solid enough. Let's see if the coaster could actually get through it. This is a realistic representation of what Viper looks like leaving the mid-course, just so you know. Still a little slow, so I'm going to drag it down afterwards. But first, let me add my favorite feature, which is the stupid, the stupid brakes on a 45-degree angle, like after the mid-course, no, after the Batwing. Okay, so now, I mean, all we got left really are the corkscrews. I'm gonna wait on the corkscrews a little bit because I want to lower everything by a couple feet. That should do for the corkscrews, yeah. Alright. I don't know how I feel about the edit mode, construction mode thing yet. I think it's an overall positive because it's kind of good to, like, separate all that stuff, but it just takes a little getting used to from the OG PlanCo. Okay, that should be okay. And I am just, like, completely ignoring the terrain that, like, Viper has, so, you know. Alright, let's do it. This is a very underrated section of Viper, which I think is hilarious. That just, like, section of straight track after the corkscrews has got to clear that little hill. Alright. Now, unfortunately, we do have to move everything a little bit further out. And this is kind of a mea culpa, because I should have realized that that mid-course is not long enough. Oh my god, I just roasted it. Not what I was hoping to see. Alright, let's... What if I do a piece by piece? Obviously, this was a mistake from mine, but it is, like, good to, like, test, like, how the adjustments are, because I know I mentioned kind of in my review the adjustments for the original Planet Coaster were pretty rough at points, and made things really difficult to adjust. So I'm hoping that With the new PlanCo, you can make some... Damn. Okay, I might just, like, do this. We still don't really have, like, the... what I was looking for. Alright. Well, we'll just live with our, live with my mistakes. Also gotta make the station a little higher. How do I add the thing? Oh, okay, there we go. Catwalk, perfect. Okay. Should be enough from here on out. So let's hop right in. I'm gonna do a purposeful test without smoothing just to see what it looks like. So let's do that right now. Why is it so like, why is it blurry? Is it like a perspective thing? I don't like it. I think that's really annoying. Anyways, let's go over the first drop and see how she do. Alright. Yeah, I stand by immediately. I think, like, the track looks a lot smoother. Obviously, there's a lot of improvements to be made. I still really don't like that jump right there. But I still think the natural, like, raw product looks way better than the original. I'm glad we're hitting, like, 5.5 Gs in the loops. That means that I did it right. And we hop up to the mid-course, get a ridiculous ejector pop. Perfect. Okay, great. Mid-course doing its job. Maybe a little too well. That's something we can easily adjust. Okay, this part looks pretty terrible. Oof. But that was the part I, like, dragged around, so I'm not too surprised. Okay. Batwing's reasonable. That looks terrible. But hopefully we could fix that. Transition to the corkscrew's not great. But the corkscrews themselves, pretty perfect. This is how I like my Viper. Last time they did not trim it this hard. I wish they did, because the corkscrews are way better then. Get the fun little dive under the station. Back up. And boom! Oh, are we making it? Oh, we were so close. Oh, we were so close. Alright, let me fix that real quick. Okay, that was kind of a mess, but we're just gonna roll with it. Again, will be a good example of the PlanCo smoothing tool. I wish I made this mid-course longer. Oh, actually, though, I think I know what I'm gonna do here. Okay, cool. So that should give the release quicker, which should make it go through the second half more realistically. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. Let's give it another try. We're just gonna jump right to the second half because I didn't change anything about the first half. Just gonna roll through this, blah, 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 blah. All right. Up into the mid-course. Nice slow stop. Okay, we're going slow, but it should hopefully let go quicker. Yes, it does. Perfect. I still really don't like the motion blur here. I wish they can get rid of it because, like, I get what they're going for here, but it just, like, hurts my eyes. Okay. Trims hit. Okay, corkscrews are a little faster, which makes sense. Great. Got the straight track. Got the dive under the station. And now, can we actually make it? Yes, we do. All right. Cool. So, next stage here is the smoothing. So, I'm not going to bother with making you all watch that. So, we'll be right back. Alright, so a couple things, good and bad, that I've gathered from just doing the smoothing. First off, the multiple different smoothing sections is awesome. This is exactly what I wanted in the original Planet Coaster. As you can see, I pretty much like retained the banking on this high turn while really helping to smooth out the height change by just like using height and turn and just avoiding banking. It's awesome. Secondly, I like having different smooth strengths. I think that's really helpful. Yeah, that looks pretty good. But there are a couple annoyances. The first like major one is that it will not allow you to smooth if you're like going into an inversion or like a brake section. So, for example, coming into the Batwing, like say I'm just like pressing the smooth button a bunch and I want it to move through here, and I get to the corkscrew, fine. And I get to the loop. All right, let's just show you. So smooth selected, smooth selected, smooth selected. Is it about to prove me wrong? Am I really being proven wrong in real time? Great. Okay. I don't know what I just did there differently, but we'll try a smaller amount. Okay. Okay, yeah. So see, when you get to here, if I'm only doing 2 at a time, once you get to the corkscrew, it just stops. And that's a problem because, like, you know, before when you just want to smooth forwards, like smooth out the whole ride, then every time you hit an inversion like this, you gotta stop, and you gotta like manually pick the next sections, like you gotta go over to here, you gotta pick all this stuff, and you gotta like smooth it out manually, which really sucks for like something like this section right here where we have the trim brake, where I kind of want to like, you know, move the height a little bit so that the trim brake isn't so like high up, but there's just no... PlanCo is just like not giving any sort of leeway, and that makes it really difficult for trying to make like a smooth transition here. Like I'm trying to get a smooth transition to the corkscrew, and it's not just working. It's just not working. So I'm sure, like, you know, if you get rid of certain things like the angle offset, which I think I did, like if you get rid of certain things, you can make it better. Again, I'm just toying with this like right out of the gate, not trying to change anything, just trying to see how like the natty PlanCo 2 experience is, because that's how most people are gonna play this game. But yeah, overall I think the smoothing tool is a pretty solid improvement. Like I can still keep like the stupid straight track section here without modifying it, and still smooth like the banking and the turn going into it. I think that's a big victory. So let's jump right into it. This is it. Actually, nah, I can't take it. I need to figure out how to change the friggin' ride camera. So BRB. Oh yeah, okay, that's much better. All right, let's do this. How do I? Okay, tab to hide panels. Let's do that. Okay, let's go. Let's see it. Should probably turn out the motion blurring. It's still annoying, but okay. Still need to smooth out the first drop. Hump into the loop is rough, but oh yeah, the turn is so much better than it was in the OG PlanCo. Much better. Okay, yeah. That's a little janky. That's my fault because I was dragging around the loop trying to get it to match up more realistically. Overall, so far, I'm pretty satisfied, ignoring the fact that the inversions still don't snap. Okay. Ooh, that was awkward. I could probably fix that, though. Did it get rid of the trims there? Did it magically, like, remove the trims? Alright, I will investigate that after. Perfect. I think it did. I think it just got rid of the trims. That makes no sense. Alright. You know what? We can make some small adjustments, but I'm pretty happy with that result. It did just remove the trim brakes. How did that even happen? Now, before we jump into the comparison with PlanCo 1, there is one small little niggle that I wanted to bring up, and that's how the smoothing tool works. It seems that this smooth all function works way better than like the smooth banking or smooth height, any of the individual smoothing functions. And individual smoothing functions, while they're helpful, kind of almost seem a little pointless because you kind of sometimes just have to smooth all to get what you want. But overall, I think it's an improvement on the smoothing. So let's jump in. Let's see how this compares to my PlanCo 1 Viper. Let's do it. All right. I really think the turn is vastly improved, even if the banking might be a little bit too off. Pretty solid first half so far, I would say. Ignoring the issue with the inversion. Alright, sliding out. Again, banking is still a little under because I had to use smooth all here. The Batwing's pretty awesome. The transition to those trims is just as awkward as before. Alright. And there we go. Okay, cool. Alright, so final thoughts. Overall, I think PlanCo 2 is a definite improvement with the coaster designer compared to the original. There are still some things about it that I do wish were better compared to the, how it is now with the original Planet Coaster. The real big thing that bothers me, as probably wouldn't surprise you, is the fact that you still can't smooth transitions into inversions, which is honestly maddening because I think that's one of the biggest and easiest things that they could have improved upon. Because, I mean, look at this, arrow corkscrew entrance. Come on. We could do better than that. I enjoy the multiple aspects of the smoothing tool. I do wish they were incorporated better and the smooth all function wasn't so much more powerful, because it still does kind of smooth out the banking a little bit more than you want to, but overall it could be worse. Pre-smoothing, the track looks way better. And also post-smoothing, I think the track looks way better. It's just everything flows better, looks a little less janky. I don't like the motion blur, but you can turn that off in settings. So, is it No Limits 2? Still no. Is it better than PlanCo 1? Definitely. Is it considerably better than PlanCo 1 to the point that I'm still not mad at the coaster designer? I'm gonna need a little more time to see. It's gonna come down to how easy it is to build custom inversions, building this custom entrance into the loop, building this custom entrance into the corkscrew. I think if that's pretty easy to implement compared to the original, I think that PlanCo 2's coaster builder will be a massive improvement. As it is right now, it could definitely improve, but hey, could be worse. Did it just get stuck here? Nice. On that note, back to the studio. Well, things could be better, but at the end of the day, I would be a fool to disregard the context of the game we're talking about here. While the coaster designer is a huge aspect of the game, Planet Coaster 2 is first and foremost a theme park management game, an entertainment product. It's never going to match the realism of No Limits 2, but that's not the point, because it's not a simulator. The point of PlanCo 2 is to build the coasters of your wildest dreams and to have fun doing it. And while I have a limited amount of playtime in the sequel at this stage, I can say, at least so far, that Frontier has once again succeeded. That's what really matters.